That was closing on 6. Yeah, we're doing 40 miles an hour. It feels like we're going 1,000,000 miles an hour, and we're just not. 2021, the second half thereof, has been a very interesting year for Hubnut. There have been some incredible highs, like having 2 rear wipers in my life, but also been some crushing lows. Things started really well when we went down to Southampton in the Cecily the C5 to hand over to Betty. Betty was coming back to Wales. We have made it to Fareham to swap cars, so that's it for this fine steed. I've done a separate video. Oh, enough. A separate video about goodbye to the C5. It has been a marvellous tool. Someone who is certainly holding a camera at the moment is quite upset about this, as you may have noticed by the thumb, but yeah, sorry. We've got more exciting things to do, so come look. So squeezed in amongst the Exotica here at Southways Automotive is Betty, and in finest Hubnut manner, she's not quite ready yet. Also in July, I did my first report on using E10. That's fuel with 10% ethanol in it, and that work is still ongoing. Ellie the 2CV, I'm running exclusively on E10 to see whether any issues development. Myrtle tends to get E10 and the more modern stuff. The older cars, the GSA and the Invacar, tend to run on E5 until I've done experiments with E10 to see whether it causes any issues. Ellie the 2CV back there has been off the road for a few weeks now. It'll be interesting to see whether there are any issues getting her back on the road. But while we're here with a Daewoo, another highlight was finally getting behind the wheel of a Daewoo Espero. So let's have a quick look at that. The Daewoo Espero is a fascinating blend of Italian styling for a French car company with German mechanicals from Opel. What's that like? Yeah, it just feels lovely. I'm really pleased to be ticking this box off at last. Another entertaining drive in July was the Opel Manta, one that lives very locally. Same sort of age as Ellie the 2CV, both on the C-plate, and Giselle indeed. Occasionally see it down at the post office when I'm delivering merchandise. So it was a pleasure to actually get behind the wheel of it. Got a Vauxhall red top engine and it was an absolute riot. Check out this clip. Right, give it some acceleration. Oh, that gearbox isn't entirely happy. Oh. That's our 60. Yeah, this is a very exciting car and I am chuffed to bits. I've been wanting to drive an Opel Manta for absolutely years. Like I say, I was very fond of them as a child because of these amazing doors, but also I did think the looks were really, really smart. Myrtle's big trip in 2021 was to Festival of the Unexceptional, and she did very well. I think she looked the part. She met up with that Daewoo Espero, so it was good to see that again. That was in the concourse, right in the middle, concourse de l'Ordinaire, and great fun. But it was nice to actually put some miles on Myrtle and take her out for a good run. And we did some other stuff while we were over there as well. So check out the report and then check out some truck driving that we also filmed on that trip, with Myrtle making a little cameo. Well, here we are. We have arrived at the Festival of the Unexceptional. Thanks to Haggerty for putting this do on. It's always mind-blowing, and you can just see the content, the cars we've got here. My friend David's 205, we've got a lovely Discovery, Renault 4, Audi 100, Skoda Estelle. It's just mind-blowing. It's the mighty Dacia. The mighty Dacia has made it. It passed an MOT yesterday, so I got wind she was going to be here. She hasn't been on the road pretty much since we brought her back. In this video, something very different. Not a car, not old. It's a 2018 Volvo FH13 500. Yeah, that is fully down. This is maximum acceleration, people. So here I am in my lorry, and look at this. Where is that Matiz? We can actually see it in this mirror there, but not every truck has that mirror. Just see a blue smear right there on the corner. But we cannot see. I have to stand right up here. We can just see the car. You can't do that if you've got your seatbelt on. You're sat here. That car absolutely invisible. We can't see it in these mirrors because she's too far forward. And like I say, if that mirror wasn't there, we would have no idea. And I have seen clips where cars have hit the corner of the lorry, spun round onto the front and been pushed down the road. So it's absolutely critical you don't do that, because that car, absolutely invisible. I know Myrtle isn't the biggest car, but that shows you just how dangerous it is. So yeah, it was great to see the mighty Dacia at Festival of the Exceptional as well. An unexpected bonus. Literally passed its MOT the day before the event. So I am overdue a catch up with the mighty Dacia. Rich still owns it. A couple of months ago the clutch failed. I need to get in touch to see if he's been able to do anything about that. Rich doesn't have anywhere to work indoors, so tackling a clutch change this time of year, yeah, that's brave work indeed. But I'll try and get an update in 2022. I would like to see what's up with the mighty Dacia. It'll be 4 years since we bought it in Romania and drove it home next month. Just staggering. But yeah, huge thanks to Johnny for helping me with the truck driving. That was such a good day. And we got some really good footage. I was really pleased with that one, and it was nice to give car drivers a truck driver's view of what's going on the road. Sometimes you think this guy hasn't seen me, and it could actually be true. He hasn't seen you, because truck blind spots are enormous and perhaps in places you didn't necessarily expect them to be. So useful information all round. Now the trip to Lincolnshire actually went quite badly wrong. We were meant to be staying there and doing some filming with some cars with my friends Eddie and Bernie, but fate started kicking wheels into action. One of the dogs was unwell, so we raced back home after doing the truck to Wales, and then I came out a week later in Betty to go back to Lincolnshire, and I filmed these little favourites. I'm thrilled to finally be driving an Austin A35 Nissan Prairie. It's the Nissan Cherry Europe, which you may know better as the Alfa Romeo Arna. Oh, well, man alive, this car is fun! Yeah, that Nissan Cherry Europe, that was one heck of a vehicle. So many highlights last year, even though I didn't drive that many vehicles, so many of the cars were great. But apologies if your car hasn't appeared in this highlight reel. There were so many tests. The Alfa Romeo V6 didn't make the cut, but that was absolutely marvellous. So yeah, please don't feel offended. These are just some real personal highlights, cars I particularly enjoyed. Of course, after the high of all those road tests with Eddie and Bernie, things went very drastically wrong, as we shall see in the next clip. Well, that wasn't how this was meant to go. We skidded off the road, came off that roundabout. I was gently on the throttle, and it's kicked around and gone a bit wrong. So that was a definite low point, but the day after that off, Andrew over near Melbourne pulled a half shaft out of a car. He shipped it to Eddie in Lincolnshire. That arrived on the Thursday. He fitted it on the Friday, and on the Saturday he drove it up to the first Hubnut Social of 2021 up at the Motorist near Leeds. And yeah, so many people to thank. I almost don't want to do a list because I think I'll just forget people. So many people have helped out in so many different ways with this channel over the past year. So thank you to all of you. You know who you are. Thank you. Let's now jump up to the Motorist, where we'll do a bit of a show report. And don't forget, we're going back to the Motorist Easter Saturday in 2022. Book your tickets. It's £5 per car, not per person. This is just to try and help them keep an eye on numbers, so they can make sure we've got space. We're taking over the whole site. Going to be plenty of room. It's going to be a splendid day. They've got food, tea and all that important stuff there. Lots to see and do. It'll be a cracking day out. But let's see how the 2021 event went. Well, Betty's still drawing a crowd, showing off her engine now. Look at this enormous Plymouth. Yeah, I should have done that. But yeah, gorgeous Plymouth here, looking enormous, with a Pontiac Trans Am behind it, unexpected. Look at this incredible Reliant Kitten. Absolute beauty. We're just taking over the place. It's got seriously out of hand. Look at this lovely Renault 5 Super Sank. Just 2 weeks later, we were back in Betty and we were down at Brooklands Museum in Surrey near London for yet another wonderful event. It was an amazing day. So many people came and everyone seemed to have a really marvellous time. So yeah, thank you to all who attended the Brooklands Social. It was a stressful day to get started with, but once we actually got in and got parked up, it was just wonderful. So many different cars, different types. Some people got to park next to Concorde. It was just an extraordinary event. So yeah, thank you to all who came. It was marvellous. Let's have a look at some of the highlights. In this video, we are at the Brooklands Museum, and it's filling up with Hubnut cars, and it's fascinating. We've set up our store right next to the toilets. That's clever. Everyone needs toilets. Sometimes they queue for toilets. They'll come to our stand, you see. Also very practical, because a lot of people need the toilet. We'll start walking around. We've got Mr. Kitch of the Up and Down channel has brought along his BX and the Reliant Fox he recently repatriated from Wales. So this was the rig he used to come and get that. Here we go. We're going to head back over to the Hubnut parking area with the little Fiesta behind us. So well done, Betty, for jump starting a little Fiesta, keeping it in the family there. Now that little Fiesta that Betty jump started at the Brooklands Social has now been sold. It did find a home, I believe, to a Hubnutter. So if you bought the XBA Fiesta that Betty jump started, do get in touch, ian@hubnut.org. I'd love to have a catch up with it and would love to do a video on it. Jumping ahead, also in August, sorry, I went for a little drive in Tuck. We took her to St David's. It was a splendid drive, just a random day out. Hadn't planned it, just jumped in the car, somehow ended up driving all the way to St David's, and we had a splendid day. Here's how it unfolded. Come on, Tuck! Well, Tuck, that's been quite the adventure. Look at this for a view. Absolutely astonishing. The St David's Cathedral here in St David's. What a fabulous day out. Well done, Tuck. September was Fiat month on the channel, all the Fiats. I drove a Multipla for the first time, and that had a bit of an effect on me. Not necessarily a good one. Yeah, I mean, it's just a design like no other, and I love it for that. There's so many delightful little features. Even just this, where you got the air intake and the Fiat badge here in the middle of a part of a car that doesn't normally exist. It's great. So yeah, I may have to jump on the classifieds. That's the danger of this job.
Oh. I'm actually really happy. Oh.
The new Hubnut family transportation.
Oh.
Family wagon. Wow, that was even more exciting than I thought it would be. I have driven an X19 before, albeit a long time ago. I don't remember it being that much fun. So yeah, some mixed Fiat experiences, but that X19 was a joy, and thank you so much to the X19 Owners Club for inviting me along to film part of their day. The sight of so many of them driving around the Ellen Valley here in Mid Wales was absolutely splendid. The adventures were still coming thick and fast though, because the next one was to take Giselle all the way over to Ipswich on the east coast of England for the East Coast Retros meet, and what a joy that was. In this video we are in Ipswich, or Shotley to be precise, near Ipswich, for the East Coast Retros meet. Very, very early doors. We're actually here before it's actually open, but as you can see, some vehicles have arrived already. So while vehicles are arriving, I thought we might have a quick look around. Cars like this lovely Alfa Romeo GTV. Flat bonnet, so it's the 4-cylinder version, but no less pretty. It's an Aussie Ford Falcon Ute. Oh yes, it's a Bond mini car, complete with its engine and everything, all on the front wheel. Chain drive to the front wheel. It is a one-wheel drive, and he's now going to demonstrate a turning circle of absolutely zero. Brilliant, thank you, sir. Wonderful. I've been chased out of the event by the police. See you again. Right, I'm getting out of here. I'm on the run from the law.
Continue on B1456
Shut
for
up,
5
Google
miles.
lady. On that East Coast Retros trip, I'd also been to Chevronics and filmed a really interesting piece with Rob Moss talking about the how the hydraulics work on a hydraulic Citroen. That was very interesting to film. Replaced one of the rear suspension cylinders, and also he diagnosed a leaky inlet manifold, which was causing a very slight air leak, making the car run badly. After that, car transformed. Giselle is an absolute joy to drive again, and I'm missing her greatly. She's still away at DFTR Automotive for what is turning into a bigger welding job than we had hoped. But going back to that East Coast Retros drive, something else I did, I met up with Laurie's Mechanical Marvels, and off camera we had a nice chat about things. So I'd love to do something with those in the new year. We'll see if we can arrange something. And I also met up with JM, James Martin of JM on Cars. And to be honest, I'd gone into that thinking our paths didn't really overlap all that much. He tends to do sporty stuff, I tend to do really boring average stuff. But he'd done a video on a Vanden Plas Allegro, russet brown one, which caught my eye. And he came to the Brooklyn Social in a Ferrari because the Porsche I end up driving when I met him wasn't yet on the road. He got a few issues with that. So he turns up in a Ferrari rather nervously, expecting it to be quite hellish and him to get a hard time, and that didn't happen. Everyone was so warm and welcoming, and I loved that. And he did a piece. I drove his Porsche 944 and did a road test. He drove my Citroen GSA, and while he talked a bit about it, he mostly talked about how he'd found his time at the Hubnut Social and how warm Hubnutters are. And it was actually a really lovely video, so do check that out on JM on Cars, who's driver of a Citroen GSA. Some very kind words. Thank you very much. The Multipla has not been a complete disaster. It was actually the perfect vehicle to take to our final Hubnut Social of 2021 down at the Refuel meet in the southwest in Devon. It just stands out by a country mile. Plenty of space for dogs, children, stock. Despite the fact this car is 4 meters long. It's amazing how practical it is for its small size. So we had a great time down at the Refuel meet, and that was our final meet. So let's have a quick look around that show. In this video we are at the Refuel Southwest meeting. Miss Hubnut is busy on the store. The dogs are being idiots, so we've had to separate them. The Multipla's getting plenty of attention. It's still fairly early, but we're going to have a walk around. We're going to see what's about, because there's already quite a few interesting vehicles here. This is a selection of cars that they've pulled out that they think are particularly interesting. Most of them don't really fall under the Hubnut banner, but this Lancia Flavia over here. Sorry, not Flavia, Fulvia. Flavia is the slightly larger car. This is lovely. Sort of rally spec HF, which is the sporty version, narrow angle V4 engine. These appear in a lot of my videos for some reason. Ah yes, another splendid car I met that weekend was the Honda S660, the one that belongs to the Lane Motor Museum. That car has been following me around a bit. I saw it at several events, which we will see soon. But an absolute hoot to drive. 660cc is just enough engine to have an absolute riot. Here is the little Honda. In this video, unexpectedly, I am driving a 2015 Honda S660, which lives in Tennessee. As you can see, we're not in Tennessee, we're actually in Devon. So it's an interesting tale already. That's crazy. It sounds like we're going 1,000,000 miles an hour. On the way over to that East Coast Retros meet, I'd managed to finally drive a Sunbeam Alpine. I'd driven one before for a magazine feature many years ago. I was desperate to put one on camera. So it was an absolute joy to find a really nice example in very original condition. And then just a month later, I was driving a Sunbeam Rapier with exactly the same engine. So let's compare exhaust notes, because that's a thing. Another end of year highlight was attending the Late Brake Show's Manchester Tour meet. That was great. So many lovely people there, and so much to see. Johnny Smith's Late Brake Show shows are definitely worth attending. We're very glad we went, even if I'm still slightly embarrassed at how dirty Betty was, which you can see in the full video. Here's a little snippet of some of the highlights. With loud music, so I hope I'm not going to get blocked by that, but we've got Colin Furze, he's chatting to people, talking about his amazing contraptions. These boys, these drift boys, have definitely caught Mini Hubnut's attention. He now wants a little drift car. I'm loving the skyline with the lights. So yeah, it's been a great show. Really enjoyed it. So thanks to Johnny, Chops, his wife, for doing so much of the organising of this absolutely great show. It's been brilliant. Yeah, wonderful meets. Johnny's done very well, and his wife Chops done very well with those events. They've taken a lot of risks putting those events on, and hopefully it has paid off for them, and there will be many more meets in 2022. I'll have to see if I can get along to at least one of them. Talking of shows, the next big one was the NEC Classic Motor Show, and in fact it was the day after getting back from that Manchester show that I set off for another adventure in Took, as we went first to the Great British Car Journey in Derbyshire on our way to the NEC. Woohoo! So there we go, we made it to the Great British Car Journey, really pleasing. So well done Took, she's done very well. But yeah, I'm going to do a fresh video looking at the museum, and we're going to drive these 3 cars, so really looking forward to it. Give it a horn test. Oh, that's proper Toad of Toad Hall stuff. Whee! Okay, now you can have a rest, old girl. I'll take you off. I'll show you where we are. So this is Hall 4 here. This is the end of Hall 4. Look, there's the vampire jet car that almost killed Richard Hammond. There's quite the thing. Did you know the Rover SD1 could be had with headlamp wipers? Look at that. I didn't even know this was a thing. It only fitted, I think, on the V8S. But yeah, extraordinary. So my friend Tim's not going to have any issues going home tonight. Yeah, I'm never going to tire of watching that Rover SD1 headlamp wiper clip. It's just absolutely superb. Huge thanks to my friend Tim for setting up that moment and for alerting me to the fact headlamp wipers existed on Rover SD1s. Somehow that had passed me by. It was a great show, so many people. I was on a stand with Furious Driving and iDriver Classic, and oh my gosh, we were talking solidly for 3 days. It was wonderful to see so many people. Thanks to everyone who came along, bought merchandise. It was great. We had a really lovely time. And it was also nice just off scene, just hanging out with Steph and Matt. We'd go out for dinner, we'd just have a bit of a natter. It was just really nice. It kind of felt like things were getting back to normal. Sadly, things have taken a downhill turn in that regard, but we shall instead move on to how this happened. When Storm Arwen, I'm kicking the bucket quite literally, did this to Ellie. This is very noisy because it's very windswept, because I was just recording on my mobile phone. I popped up here not planning to record, but this is how this happened. Oh, Storm Arwen has claimed a victim. Ellie has lost her rear wing. That's not good. Yeah, not good times. Now, a few people were saying, how did it not get blown off on the motorway? But very different forces at play here. The wind came in from behind. I don't generally reverse Ellie down the motorway at 70 miles an hour. It's like 70, 80 mile an hour winds, came in from underneath and blew the wing off the car. It then went round, was actually wedged under one of the wheels on the other side of the car because of how the wind was circulating around. And yeah, I'm very pleased the unit itself stood up to those winds, because it was genuinely scary times. I was dreading coming up here, wondering what damage I would see, but thankfully that was as bad as things got. I'm going to pop to the laptop and see what I'm meant to be talking about next, because I've entirely forgotten. Oh, that's Miss Hubnut telling me off because of this very car. She said,
"You bulb-stealing buffoon."
And that was because I'd stolen a headlamp bulb from her precious Chevy here and put it in Betty, the Ford Fairmont. I've since replaced it. This has a bulb in it again, I think now. Does it? Have I connected it up? Yeah, I think I've put a bulb in. So I think we're all right, but still got issues with this car. One of the things I might do today actually is try and bodge this in with a bit of sealant, just because I need to get this car running again. And it might be she only drives as far as outside, and we come back and revisit this job because it's just got a bit out of hand. I'm too far out of my comfort zone. So we might be parking that job for now. Thinking it might be better just to acquire another little car for Miss Hubnut to learn to drive in, because the Matiz is still out of action. Still don't know what's going on with that, so I can't use that for driving tuition either. And the only cars I've actually got on the road at the moment are both enormous automatics, and unfortunately my insurance policy won't cover those cars. The Daihatsu is insured separately, so all a bit of a pain. But of course the final highlight of 2021 was this very car, the Toyota Camry. So here's a little snippet from when I was collecting it, and then one from just the other day. But yeah, it looks okay. Not perfect. I wasn't expecting it to be, but you don't really see them. That's not what we want to see. That is some pretty impressive bubbling. So there we go, that is my report on 2021. It's definitely been a bit of a mixed year. Some purchases have been better than others. I still feel this was a good purchase. I think I paid too much for the car given the issues it has. But I am speaking to a former Toyota technician, and hopefully we're going to find some solutions to this car. Did since find something in the paperwork confirming that the head gasket has failed according to a garage, but did some work on it. They fitted a new thermostat, and then told the owner, oh, that's 58 quid and your head gasket has failed. Not the best. There's still an outside chance there's an issue here. It hasn't been bled properly, so it might be it's cavitation going on that's churning water because the level's still not quite right. There's plenty of air in there. Still holding out a little hope, but I feel confident that even if I have to do a head gasket on this car, this Toyota technician could help me, and that would be good times. I'm sitting in the back on the 7th seat here, or 6th and 7th I guess, in the back of the Toyota Camry. The hublets love sitting here, which is one reason I might keep the privacy glass on, because there's nothing more weird than following a car with children sitting in the back staring back at you. I'm aware they're in the crumple zone, but they're having the time of their lives, and you've got to remember to actually have some fun in life, haven't you? But I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has supported Hubnut over the past year. You've seen I've had difficulties. It hasn't always been easy. It hasn't always gone to plan. But I do want to say my purchases are genuine. I know, especially with the Fiat and with this car as well, some people have accused me of being all clickbaitist. But no, I genuinely wanted to own this car. I genuinely wanted to own the Fiat, but I did a particularly bad job with that. I didn't check it over at all. It's got way too many mechanical maladies for me. This is hopefully just the head gasket, so we shall see. Huge thank you to all of you. However you've supported this channel, whether you've watched the videos, liked the videos, shared the videos, whether you've bought merchandise at the Hubnut store. Don't forget we've got calendars still in stock. You better grab one of those quick before they all vanish. But yeah, thank you ever so much. I'm going to clamber out the boot of my car now, so I can say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can subscribe if you wish. Head to the Hubnut store at hubnut.org if you wish. But otherwise, I shall see you in a future video. Farewell. Oh, there's always a way. He's not 100% do let me know, Ian at Hubnut.